Welcome back to Planet Coaster and to the project Occasional 2. In the last episode we built a restaurant on the final plot of the toy area. Today we're starting the wizard/spooky complex. Let's begin with the outer wall, lay down the rough layout for the castle itself, add a few buildings protected by the wall, and create a passage between the main path and the path that runs along the castle towards the toy area. I already extended the castle wall a bit off-screen and created another access point to the area. Right now I'm working on the passage in front of the actual castle. Okay, it's pretty obvious here, but in theme parks I really like entrances that feel a little hidden. The path takes a slight detour and the passageway is hidden behind trees and bushes. Alright, sidetrack. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, this is the level of detailing I'm aiming for this area. And also, yes, I'm fully aware that this means we're progressing relatively slowly. But it looks so good, and I have a feeling it's going to be worth it. On to the next act, the castle wall and the official entrance. Historically, the wall was primarily a defense structure, so on the inside we need a walkway where guards could move to fend off attackers. Underneath this wooden construction, there's plenty of storage space for all kinds of things, and maybe even a shop or two. In between two watchtowers, I'm building a large gate. There wasn't enough room for a moat, but thanks to the elevated terrain, the castle should be hard enough to conquer anyway. As for the gate, unfortunately, it's closed to visitors and only opened on special holidays. Yeah, in Planko there aren't many doors to choose from yet that can be used to install open doors. At least the staircase on the outside is kept clean, which is quite an achievement. The terrain on the inside slopes downwards and isn't reinforced, so when it rains, soil gets washed towards the gate and then flows down the outer staircase. After every rain shower, people have to clean these steps several times a day. Alright folks, we're building one of the buildings inside the castle walls, but we'll talk about that after the disco break. I dove into my music library and found a few nice tracks that are, as always, completely unfitting for my talking pause. I'll be right back.
Salí de noche a romperla. Una belleza la encontré como una perla. Yeah. Lo quise todo sin conocerla. Decidí de allí que yo iba a tenerla. Yeah. Tanta gata yo pichando. Por tu cuerpito lo quisiera estar chichando. Complaciéndote te quiero gritando. Ya esta pista toda la disco brincando. Salí de noche a romper. Salí de noche a romper. Ey, salí de noche a romper. Salí de noche a romper. Ey, salí de noche.
Estoy en mi zone, tú me tienes volando hasta la nube como un dron. A las 3 de la mañana chismeando por teléfono. Qué rica la discusión, pero ya deja el papelón. Encuéntrame en la disco, perrearemos reggaetón. Como te deseo me vuelve loco y eso no un desaire. En París, Marquesina o en la playa, respirando ese aire. Solo somos dos cuerpos que ocupan no toda la pista de baile. Métele sazón como Tego Calderón, que ese cuerpo de embuste como Calle. Todo y tiene todo lo que necesito. Yo pichando gatita, aunque soy puro perrito. Aquí en mi cuarto contigo, tan cerrado los postigos. Baby, dime a ver, solo sé que ayer salí de noche a romper. Salí de noche a romper. Salí de noche a romper. Salí de noche a romper.
Tú me lo das, baby, ven acá, baby. Tú me lo das, baby, ven acá, baby. Tú me lo das, baby, ven acá, baby. Tú me lo das. Salí de noche a romper. Ey, salí de noche a romper. Salí de noche a romper. Ey, salí de noche.
Here I am again, the first building in the new construction style. Hey! Within an area, the style can be roughly consistent. It creates a unified look, defines the theme, and helps guests to orient themselves. Of course, there should be variations, otherwise every building would look the same, but the basic set of building pieces stays identical. That means, roughly in this style, all houses in this area will be built. Well, the castle will look very different, not just in size, but also in construction. I think it's realistic that a castle built for representation would be more pompous, while ordinary folk would live in more modest houses. This house has a stable on the back. Too bad that Planko doesn't have animals. Sheep or cows would definitely boost the immersion here. Anyway, the stable is placed on the side facing away from the castle wall, so attackers with flaming arrows have fewer chances to hit easily flammable targets. Alright, I think we have a plan for the next episodes. Expand this village, build a castle, and place a coaster inside the castle. I'm noticing a pattern. This is now the 4th or 5th coaster in this park that I'm building entirely or partially inside a structure. Apparently I have a preference I didn't know about. Yeah, let's see how this develops. But folks, despite the detailed building style, we actually make good progress today. Let's take a look at the cinematic shots to see how everything turned out. I'll try to film around the white placeholders for the buildings that still need to be constructed. Thank you for hanging out with me and see you in the next one.